Welcome back to Wild Bird Farm. I'm Tara. I garden here in Zone 5 in central Iowa. Today we're going to put together some retail bouquets. I have picked flowers and they sat in the house in the cool to soak up that water, and now we are ready to make bouquets. It is 95 degrees outside, so while I tried to do this out in our Morton building, today I'm doing it inside where it's a little cooler. I've got 2 monster buckets full of blooms. You can probably see they're mostly in the yellow and white colorway. I am starting to get some sunflowers blooming, both out in the field and in the hoop house. So we are gonna go with some bouquets with a yellow, white, and green theme. And then for some of them, we're gonna add in a pop of purple. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is lay out all my ingredients in little piles on the counter. That way I can very assembly line manner run through and make my bouquets. So we'll talk quickly about what I have. Covenant Garden Baby's Breath. This likes cool weather, so it is on its way out, but it's going to add that airy texture. We have Perennial Scabiosa. The Fama variety, if I'm saying that correctly. Both white, and they call this blue. I really call it purple. Let's see, a decent amount of this. This is really going to be the biggest flush. I'll get some of these throughout the year, but right now is usually when I get my largest harvest over a few weeks' time. Now in this handful, I have both Sweet Annie, oops, I have a couple errant chamomile here. We have Sweet Annie and Anise Hyssop. If you've been around for a while, I love to use the Anise Hyssop early in the spring. I don't generally use it when it's blooming because I find it flops. But needing some extra purple, I decided to harvest some today. And then we have our Sea Holly. The first harvest on this season, just 1 branch per bouquet. I can already tell I'm gonna run out of room here. The yellow, this is Dyer's Chamomile or Kelway Golden. Cute little yellow blooms. Now I also sometimes, once the petals drop, like this one's pretty close, you can pop off these petals and just use that yellow disc. That's a kind of a secondary way you can use this flower. Of course, we have our sunflowers, which I think I will leave in the bucket for now. I have a little bit of delphinium. I actually harvested this over a couple days, but we have both white and blue. Boy, that chamomile's everywhere, isn't it? And then for airy texture, we have a lot of different things. We have the corn cockle or agrostemma, both in the white and the purple. I harvested some nigella. I harvested some whitefinch orlea, which is a little wilty for me this time of year. I have some yarrow. Let's see, more white corn cockle here. And then we have 2 types of feverfew. We have the Venmo single. And then we have, oh, I just forgot the name of this fluffy white stuff. I'll write that on the screen. And then we have some Bupleurum. And we have some Irish eyes. I'm just going to pull one out. That'll kind of fill in if I don't have enough sunflowers. I think I'm going to do 3 yellow focals per bouquet. There's the Bupleurum. I think I will, let's see, put this over here by our filler. I'm going to move these into this bucket. I have some shorter Boupleurum that I think I'll leave in the bucket for now. I have some white. Oh goodness, I'm making a mess. Okay, so having my counter pretty much full with things laid out, a few things still in buckets, I'm going to start building my bouquets. And as I was harvesting, I had a number of bouquets in mind. So for that purpose, I'm going to run through and kind of take, let's see, one sea holly, for now one Boupleurum, one yarrow, one sprig of the baby's breath, one sweet Annie, and then probably either or for now. Let's see, let's do actually, so some of these we're going to have more purpley and some we're not. So we'll do a couple of the larkspur, and then we're going to add in our focals here. Let's see. So for this one, 2 sunflowers and a rudbeckia. And then since this is a purple one, we're going to use some purple scabiosa. Let's see, a couple of those. And then we'll come through with the Dyer's chamomile. Add in, I picked quite a bit of this. Some of these are still a little floppy. That one might be a little bit small, but most of them have rehydrated pretty well. And then we're going to add a bit of interest. And in this one, we're going to use our white corn cockle. And I like to kind of have these float above the bouquet. It kind of adds that airy interest. That one's a little short. And then just to add a little more purple, I'm going to grab an anise hyssop with purple on it. And sometimes the focals get moved around, so sometimes at the end I kind of have to adjust, of course taking off some leaves. I think this looks pretty good. We're going to go with this, a little bit wild today. Okay, got this one trimmed and rubber band. We're going to do a couple of these and then we'll head over and I'll show you how I'm going to wrap them. So I'm going to build a second one, probably 3 or 4 that look very similar. I think I decided I am going to just go through, let's see, depending how many purple I have, we're going to use those up. Sometimes it will look a little bare in the center, and so I will thread through something with a little bit more weight, like the yarrow is good for that. All these got on the same side. The status in this one, add a little bit more white. Let's see. And then we'll add our little flutters. Okay, and then for wrapping, I use 15 by 15 inch squares, folded slightly off center. I have a stamp with archival ink. You'll see how that gets folded up, and then I use a stapler and we are ready to go. As I was editing, I realized I did not have a good angle for you guys to see what I was doing. So here we are the next day. I'm actually making a second bunch of bouquets. And you can see how I just nestle it down in the paper, pull the sides up, and then I use 2 staples. One note, I do use 2 rubber bands down on the stems, and that's just for ease of displaying and pulling those out of the retail buckets. Now I'm going to make one that's mostly white and yellow, although I do have the sea holly, so I will continue to use that. It's pretty close to a green or a neutral though at this stage. This is where the feverfew is really going to shine. Now these are pretty small. May put 2 together here. A couple areas on the bouquet. Some of the status is a little bit short, although I think most of it is pretty usable. That one's a little short. These will definitely grow taller as the season wears on. Let's see. This is where we can use a Sweet Annie to bulk up the bouquet a bit. Let's see. And then some of the white fama. Really like to get tangled for me. We're going to use this big beauty. It's already opening in this one. It's a little bit more bulk on this side. We're going to stick with the same feverfew. Put a little yarrow in as well. And here they are all put together, the first sunflower bouquets of the season. I think the colors are pretty nice, and I'm showing you some of the airier textures that I'm using in these bouquets that you can see in a light breeze really move around and add some movement and play to the bouquets. Thanks for joining me today. I will see you guys next time.